the ruling party at the moment, PDP, will be making way for APC that won the election into government house. Now, of course, they should be in the midst of preparations and handing over the whole transition process. But the last time I checked, I think at the meeting that was held, it doesn't seem that everybody was present, and there were some arguments as to not being ready for the meeting. No matter, because I think a member of the transition committee, the Joint Transition Committee, Prince Kassim Afegbua, APC chieftain, was at that meeting. So, and he's our guest this morning. A fine morning to you, Prince Afegbua.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Indeed, our pleasure. Now, clarify that whole area for me, please. Is the transition process going smoothly? You will know much better, but I was hearing something about there being, should it be arguments or a conversation as to the incompleteness of documents to help the process. How did it go?
Well, we haven't concluded our assignment. We are still meeting with the relevant stakeholders with a view to getting a richer information concerning the status report of the state. The government of the day, ab initio, seemed very ill-prepared, to receive us, because perhaps they were thinking that a candidate of their party will win the election. So they never expected that the opposition party in the state, the APC, would defeat their candidate. So the preparations they made was sort of a seamless transition from one PDP governor to another PDP governor. Now that it became an APC victory, you can see some kind of very shoddy job, some kind of hasty job, incomplete and very haphazard kind of documentation in the name of paperless administration that they touted so much about. But of course, that the civil service rule in Nigeria requires that there has to be filing system. Whether you are doing paperless, you have to derive your data from the primary source. You have to refer to memo. I'm referring to memo SYZ on this subject matter and all of that. So when you are running a paperless administration, whether e-service, whether e-government, or e-anything, e-society, you must have a base, and that base is actually your filing system. So we have attended a couple of meetings with the relevant representative of government. We've asked questions, we've raised concerns, we raised queries where it is necessary, and they promised that they were going to avail us quite a number of documents, but we are not actually satisfied with the quality and quantity of the documents they have supplied thus far.
Okay.
There are too many obvious, areas that are lacking transparency, that are lacking accountability and probity, as the case may be. We have seen their financials. We have raised concerns, but of course, as a body, as a committee, we are going to prepare our own reports and submit to the incoming governor. And from there, we'll take up, the other issues that we have observed. We'll take them up. We are meeting with the relevant stakeholders, the security apparatus. Yesterday, we met with the Commissioner of Police. We are going to meet with the DSS, Civil Defense, and quite a number of others, so that we know state of the state of Edo prior to the inauguration of the governor-elect.
So generally speaking, what are some of the key pieces of information that will be expected at a meeting, a transition meeting such as this?
We wanted a situation where the government will be open enough with respect to how they spent taxpayers' money.
Okay.
Money that accrued to the state from the
Okay, it's stuck for a while there. Just trying to get from Prince Afegbua what exactly they were looking forward to, but were disappointed by not seeing.
I think so.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're back online now. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So we expected to know how the government expended revenue allocation from federal allocation, from 30% derivation, from internally generated revenue that has increased according to them. We've seen a trajectory of the accruals, almost 1.6 trillion in the last 8 years, according to them, thereabout. And despite that kind of resources, we also see an accumulated debt of about 462 billion, taking off from 43 billion that they inherited in 2016. And they told us that the state has not borrowed any money in 8 years, and that what we see is the volatility of the exchange rates prior to 2016, and the debt of the state now had to increase to 462 billion. And so we are making a blanket statement in some of our submissions that no bank, nobody should come forward to tell us that Edo State is owing a kobo. Since the government of the day has stated that there are no borrowings, no debts incurred in the process aside from the one he inherited. So that would be a takeoff point. And again, we also wanted a breakdown of some of the issues they raised. If you said, for example, you said you have 40 uncompleted projects, it's our responsibility to know how far those projects have gone. Is it 20% completed? Is it 80% completed? How much have you expended on them? How much are the commitments that we are expected to defray if we are to commence or to complete those projects? But just writing very vague reports that you have 40 uncompleted projects, the status of which we are not aware of, also beggars the question. So the government, I think it was much in a hurry to just hand over to us very wishy-washy reports because they never expected that APC will win. If it were to be PDP, it would be Padi report. But now that it is APC, they see a clearer need or a greater need to interrogate all of the issues they have presented. They call them 5 thematic pillars. 5 thematic pillars that are neither here nor there. In one of our meetings, I had to raise concern that we are tired of listening to literature review. Okay. We are not interested in literature. We want to know how much you have received within the period, and how did you expend these resources? Okay. What are the projects? One moment, please. What is the cost of this project?
One moment, please.